which one has the highest amount of lipid in your food diet? Which one? How many kinds of lipids we had? Triglyceride, yeah. Then phospholipids. Sphingolipids. Then lipoprotein.
Yeah.
Then cholesterol. And also lipids. Actually, is kind of part of this. In addition to triglycerides, first of all, we have fatty acids. Okay? And in metabolism part, we talk about all of these kind of lipids, their synthesis, and also their degradation. You know, metabolism consists of two parts, catabolism and anabolism. And in anabolism, we need energy. But in catabolism, we produce energy. So, and also, the main sources of actually our energy is food and dietary. Here you can see the main actually dietary lipids is triglyceride. Then triglycerides themselves can be converted to the fatty acid and glycerol. Triglyceride consists of 3 fatty acid and glycerol. These 3 fatty acids during the process which known as a lipid beta oxidation, okay, fatty acid by beta oxidation, they are degraded to acetyl CoA. Beta oxidation is one of the main important pathways in lipid metabolism. And also, we can synthesize fatty acid from acetyl CoA also. By a process or pathway known as a fatty acid synthesis. In actually synthesis pathway, we had a suffix. That suffix was genese or lysis. Sorry?
What?
Genese, okay? Genesis actually. You know, we have actually catabolism and anabolism. First of all, we have pathway and we have cycle. What is the difference between pathway and cycle? Yeah, it's circular, and pathway actually is linear. You know, in pathway, when we talk about this is the pathway, it means we started from A point, then we go to B point, C point, other, and finally, for example, we finish or ended at F point. It's the pathway. But in actually cycle, we started from A, then we go to B, C, D, and again we go back to the A point. For example, in carbohydrate, we will study a Krebs cycle. In metabolism of amino acid, we will study a urea cycle. But most part of actually metabolism pathway of fatty acid and lipids are known as a pathway. They are not cycle. For this reason, this pathway known as a actually somehow lipogenesis. Okay, lipogenesis. But lipogenesis actually is not synthesis of fatty acid. It's fatty acid synthesis. Lipogenesis means when you produce actually triglyceride from fatty acid, this process known as a lipogenesis. And when again you convert triglyceride to the fatty acid, this process known as a lipolysis. Okay. There are some terms that you should know first of all, and then when I talk about lipogenesis, lipolysis, like that, you can get what I mean. Here you can see we have actually triglycerides. They can convert to the fatty acid. Fatty acid themselves can be used for synthesis of phospholipids or actually for synthesis of picoxanones. Then they can actually degrade to acetyl-CoA by beta oxidation, and also they can actually synthesize from acetyl-CoA by fatty acid synthesis. This acetyl-CoA actually itself can go and use actually for synthesis of cholesterol. Cholesterol itself is important for synthesis of bile acid, vitamin D, and steroids. And the source of acetyl-CoA, in addition to fatty acid, also, as you will learn in carbohydrate metabolism, all of sugar, for example, glucose, produce acetyl-CoA. For this reason, if you use a lot of sugar, all of this sugar can be converted to the acetyl-CoA, and acetyl-CoA finally go and convert to the lipids and lead to lipid accumulation in your body. So, first of all, for those who actually are not, don't listen. First of all, you know, lipids are not water soluble. Okay? So they cannot transport in blood circulation easily. For this reason, we have to actually change them to the lipoprotein structure. First of all, we study lipoprotein metabolism in our body and how they can transport. Again, we have a brief review on different kinds of lipoprotein and their metabolism in our body, and also this is related to lipid metabolism, lipoprotein metabolism. So after lipoprotein metabolism, we'll go talk about fatty acid synthesis and beta oxidation. So how many actually lipoprotein we had? Four. Or maybe 5. What they were?
LDL,
LDL,
HDL,
HDL,
VDL.
VDL.
And we have lipo A.
Yeah. All of them. And iron.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Also between VDL and LDL, we have an
IDL.
iron. So, you know, we have two kinds of lipids in our. One of them known as the endogenous lipids, and the other is exogenous lipids. Endogenous lipids means those lipids which they are synthesized in our liver. Our liver synthesis them. But exogenous lipids means those lipids from dietary. Okay? Dietary lipids known as exogenous lipids. So each of these lipoprotein has a specific function. For example, chylomicron duty or function is transporting exogenous lipids from intestine to other tissue. And VLDL function is transporting endogenous lipids from liver to peripheral tissue. LDL function was what? Lipid. What kind of lipids? Transporting?
Lipids from the liver to the periphery.
What kind of lipids? When you talk about lipids, we have a lot of lipids. Cholesterol.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
cholesterol.
LDL transport cholesterol from blood circulation to our peripheral tissue, specifically related to heart, is so important for us. And HDL function is reverse transportation of cholesterol from peripheral tissue to liver and metabolites. So during actually lipid digestion, first of all, I will talk about lipid digestion and absorption. So before I talk about actually lipid digestion, I have a question. Lipid energy, actually, their content energy is higher in comparison to carbohydrate and protein. For example, if you assume that we have a 6 carbon lipids and 6 carbon sugar and 6 carbon actually protein, the amount of energy in lipid is more than 2 times in comparison to carbohydrate. Why? Why the amount of energy in lipid is more than over it? Okay? It is more than carbohydrate. What do you think? It's related to their structure. Hydrogen. Can you explain again?
During degradation, you get no ATP.
No, exactly.
They have weak bonds. So
They have weak bonds. No, if actually they have weak bonds, they actually produce little energy. Okay. What do you think? Why they produce high amount of energy? Number of hydrogen bonds. What does exactly means? It's close to the answer.
Breakdown of hydrogen releases greater amount of energy. So more hydrogen bond leads to greater release of energy.
Not exactly, but you're close to the answer. Actually, it is related to the amount of hydrogen, okay, or the level of the reduction, okay. If we produce energy by oxidation, okay, by oxidation of molecule, we produce energy. If a molecule be in a actually reduced form, it produces high energy. If a molecule be in an oxidated form, it produces low energy. For example, you know for carbon we have different structure. It can be like that CH4. Is the highest level of reduction. All of actually bond are bind to the hydrogen. Also we can have CH3O, CH actually 2O2, or CH2 like that. Finally, actually if we go, we can have COOH or COH. The oxidated form is CO2, okay, which cannot produce energy for us. During this actually level of oxidation from CH4 to CO2, the amount of energy production is decreased. So, because the carbon on carbohydrate was in form of carbohydrate glucose structure. All of them, they were like CH2OH. Okay? They have a hydroxy. All of carbon in sugar. But all of carbon in carbohydrate in lipids are form of reduced. And like, okay? Is one of the reasons. Because they are in reduced form in comparison to carbon. The next reason is The correct answer is equal to 0.5 square. 1 minute. Question is that why the amount of energy in lipids is higher than carbohydrates or protein? It was actually related to the reduction state I talked about. There is another reason. So no answer. I get the score and you get the negative. Because they are not hydrated as a sugar. Okay? They are closely packed in SRH tissue. For example, carbohydrates are with water. A lot of water covers the carbohydrates. But triglycerides actually, or lipids, are not hydrated as sugar. There are two reasons of the amount of energy in lipid is higher than carbohydrate or proteins. And related to dietary fatty acid, almost it depends on actually the dietary type. For example, European country, USA country, all countries is different. But overall, 30% to 60% of calorie intake actually provided by fatty acid. And this actually lipids include triglycerides, phospholipids, cholesterol ester, and actually they come from different products or sources like dairy products, meats, and so on. We need different kind of enzymes for lipid digestion. All of them known as a lipase. Okay? For example, in carbohydrate, we need what kind of enzyme? Amylase. And here we need lipase. We have a lot of lipase, but three of them are most common. Lingual lipase, stomach lipase, and the third one is pancreatic lipase. Lingual, pancreatic, and stomach. Actually, lingual or salvial lipase activity is in low pH, acidic pH, between 4 to 5. Okay? And its activity almost is on actually the short chain and medium chain. As you know, we have different kind of fatty acid. Short chain, medium chain, long chain, and very long chain. Okay? Short chain and medium chain can be digested by salvia lipase, or they are known as a what? Milk fat. Okay? Short and medium chain known as a milk fat. It's different, but around 30% of fat is hydrolyzed by salvia during 1 to 20 minutes after digestion. Okay? After 20 minutes, around about 30% of lipid digestion happens by lingual lipase and also by stomach lipase. Lingual or salvial lipase is important in actually a neonates, as you know. Why? Lingual lipase is important in neonates. Yeah, because of as you saw, lingual lipase preferential is active on acidic pH, and in neonates because bile salt deficiency and also the pancreatic enzyme production is not developed. So the pH in intestine is low, is in acid. So the lipoids for neonates is the most important lipase. Related to second lipase, which is known as stomach lipase. In stomach lipase, protein are separated from lipids because, as you know, we have protein digestion in stomach. So the main role of stomach lipase is proteolysis and actually releasing lipids from proteins. And again, in infant, stomach lipase is important, and also in patient with cystic fibrosis. What was cystic fibrosis or CF? What is CF? Cystic fibrosis. What accumulated? What is the previous from genetic diseases? The genetic disease which lead to the is due to the mutation in color channel. Okay, in color channel, sodium color channel. Okay, and because of dysfunction of this specific channel, the activity of pancreatic is not actually in healthy situation. For this reason, they also need stomach and soluble lipase more than other people. The third one and main important lipase is known as a pancreatic lipase. But for pancreatic lipase activity, we need to increase the pH in the intestine. Because as you know, the pH of chymus is acid. And acid or actually stomach content stimulates some cells known as the mucosal cells, which they release two hormones. They are known as the cholecytokinin and secretin. You didn't study the physiology part of digestion?
No.
Yeah, you will study actually, I think, this semester and next semester. And also, in the digestion system, we have a lot of hormones. Two of them are cholecytokinin and secretin. Cholecytokinin function is, first of all, stimulate gallbladder and also pancreas to release. Gallbladder release bile acid and pancreas release digestive enzymes. Good digestive enzyme by pancreas and what? Bile acid by gallbladder. Bile acid actually is so important in lipid digestion. And also it's slow the rate of stomach emptying and stimulating insulin secretion, which is important in digestion or not for lipid digestion. The secreting function is releasing bicarbonate, which bicarbonate function is neutralize heme pH or actually increase the pH of heme in intestine. So after that, we have to digest lipids. As you can see here, there is a process known as emulsifications. Emulsifications is like that because the lipid droplets are so large. Digestive enzyme cannot access to the actually this area or core of lipid particle. So we need to digest this large particle to the small particle. So emulsification or emulsifier are those compounds which they have two sides, polar side and non-polar side. Okay? And they combine to the lipids, which is actually a compound in our body known as a bile salt. Bile actually made from different components. Do you know about the bile constituent? Yeah, bile salt, bile acid, then lysine. What? Myself. Bile salt, bile acid, yeah, then
There's another thing. Yeah, it has three things. Bile salt, bile acid,
actually phospholipids and bile salt and bile acid actually themselves are synthesized from cholesterol. And also in bile we have a pigment known as a bilirubin. Okay? Bilirubin. Yeah. Where we synthesis bile?
liver.
Liver. Liver is actually the site of synthesis of bile. But after synthesis, bile go to the gallbladder and storage in gallbladder, then release or secrete to the small intestine. So, in addition to bile and process of emulsification, we need lipase, pancreatic lipase. Or also for action, for inducing pancreatic lipase, we need a protein known as a co-lipase. What is the meaning of co-lipase? Helper. Is a helper of actually lipase to actually increase the efficiency of activity of lipase. Bile salts, as you can see, they are